Boy, howdy. I cannot believe I get to do this. There are a lot of people here. Could we take an offering? Wow. Wow. Huh. I came to know Jesus when I was 27, out of an atheist family. My dad's a Mensa atheist, still alive. And a bunch of high school kids, my students when I was teaching high school, brought me to Christ. And here I am now, getting to speak in front of you who have become my heroes. And so I am so honored, and I'm overwhelmed, I'm frightened, and I'm delighted, and I've just asked God as I wake up at 4 o'clock Phoenix time that he would make this time count, that we wouldn't just bat at the wind. In Genesis, you know the story. After Adam and Eve sinned, they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. Then the Lord called to the man and said, "Where are you?" Knowing full well where he was. And he said, "Well, I heard the sound of thee in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself." I was afraid because I realized I was naked, and so I didn't know what to do but hide myself. It was the first time that I'd realized I was naked and I was afraid. And on that day, Adam initiates a horrible legacy. He's the first man to ever look over his shoulder. It's the first time we ever see anybody's eyes dart. First time we ever see anyone cover themselves, pretending to be somebody else. And now it comes all the way down. And the waters ripple out. And it hits us. And now when you and I get afraid, when we get embarrassed, when we get exposed, when someone has done something to us or we have done something to someone else, something happens. I get naked, and so I get afraid, and so I want to hide myself. I become convinced that I'm not enough, that I don't match up. And so I learn to hide in one way or another. Adam began it. I've turned it into an art form. As early as we can remember, we have performed for acceptance. If I'm good enough, if I'm talented, diligent, beautiful, together enough, right, correct enough, I will be loved and accepted and blessed and happy. And if not, I will be rejected and receive a lousy life. It is genetically wired into us since the fall. We learn early on how to perform, how to do the dance. The highest value is being accepted, and it appears the means of that acceptance on this planet is performance. And performance is hard because I fail. It's another result of the fall is the assumption that nobody else fails quite like me. Isn't that right? I assume that you guys have it together and that I'm failing in a particular, unique, singular way. And so I live with the awareness of just how poorly I know I'm doing. And so I must be unfit, I must be unworthy, I must be unlovable, I must be unable. And now I'm naked, and I'm scared. I don't want to be, but I am. And now I know that nobody must know. I've got to posture, I've got to present myself. I've got to mask myself with enough reason to be loved. I must brag. I've got to put others down. I've got to pretend that I'm more than I am. I've got to idealize myself. I've got to posture and mask. And so I do the dance and I put on the mask.